Welcome. All right, let's move on to section 6, our deep thought.
Deep thought.
Why don't you set it up? Why don't you talk about it? By the way, because I think this one's searchable. If you're not watching the full show, welcome. We do a full, hour to 2 hour show every week.
Yes.
Comes out on Sundays. We break them out into clips throughout the week. So if you're watching today, if you're watching this on a Saturday, or you're just watching the clip, check out the full show and check out our channel and be sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up. Right? That helps a lot.
Yeah.
So we both went to
Berklee College of Music.
Where's that?
Boston, Massachusetts.
That's right. I just want to specify that because that comes up a lot.
Yes. I do love having it assumed that I went to UC Berkeley, and I go, no.
I swear one of these days I'm just changing it. Yes, I did. Please give me an engineering job I'm not qualified for.
I was just going to go, yes, there's lots of hills.
Yeah. So we met in college.
We did.
I was there a semester before you. You came in the spring.
Yes.
And we've just been attached at the hip ever since.
Pretty much.
And I know that this question comes up a lot on the boards too of should I go to music school? Should I go get a degree in recording? I just got my GI Bill. I'm thinking about going and getting a degree in music production. Don't. Just don't.
Really don't.
Let me tell you, but if you're dead set on it and you can get in, Berkeley's not a bad place to go. Because most of these schools, they'll teach you how to work in a multi-million-dollar facility. And that's it. Right? And those don't really exist anymore. But Berkeley still does teach you how to be a musician.
They do.
And that skill helps with producing.
And even when we were there, when it was starting to change, they were kind of starting to go towards a little more, how to do this on your own.
Yes.
But it was so new at the time that nobody really knew how to do it. No, there was no model to follow. There was no, if you do X, Y, and Z, you'll be successful.
There really still isn't.
There really isn't. But,
unless it's, make a good product, put a bunch of money behind it in advertising, then maybe you stand a chance.
Yeah. But, back before then, it was, if you were going to do this for a living, you worked for a big record studio. You worked for a recording studio, you worked for a record company, that was the model. And so now it's been turned on its head.
Yep. And don't go into debt to go to school.
No.
That's what killed me, right? Like, part of the reason I wound up in Austin, Texas was because it was either come here, live cheap, or I would never have gotten out of my family's house.
Yeah.
Because the debt burden that I came out with was significant. So don't go into debt to go to music school. Go get a degree in something that is employable. Anybody who's thinking about going into audio engineering should go into electrical engineering. And then you'll know how to fix gear.
Yes.
And as an audio engineer, that's way more important than knowing where to put a microphone.
Yeah, that makes you way more valuable.
So figure out how to learn to read a schematic, figure out how to tech gear, and you're going to be useful to a studio. Nobody's going to hire you because you went to music school.
And really, any good recording program should have at least one class where they show you how to at least read a basic schematic or a wiring diagram. Berkeley doesn't. Yeah, see, the classes I took, the recording classes I took at community college, we had to be able to follow a wiring diagram.
Well, a wiring diagram and a schematic are two different things.
Well, no, there were schematics involved as well, but that was the thing we were actually tested on was, you have to be able to chart from this point to wherever it ends up.
But learn how to service things like keyboards.
Yes.
Learn how to service things like microphones and preamps. And then, you'll be super valuable to a studio. Like the most ideal intern I could have in my mind is somebody who can help me fix stuff. Mm-hmm. Because I have, there's always something going in and out of the shop.
Yes.
So if you're able to help repair equipment, then you're going to get in. That's how to get your internship at the big studios, is being able to help by servicing the equipment. And the early days of audio engineers were electrical engineers.
Yeah.
The guys were making their own boards. The guys were making their own preamps, their own not their own microphones, but everything else. A lot of the early 40s, 50s, even into the 60s, it was a lot of handmade.
Yeah.
Purposely designed for that studio. Studios had boards that were unique to them.
Yep.
And knowing how to do that is a much more valuable skill.
Yes.
There's a lot of guys who know how to put a microphone in front of a source and press record.
Right.
And knowing how to place it is really a question of experience plus experimentation.
Yeah, it's all trial and error, really. That's all a beginning recording class is the lab part of it is, here's some microphones, here's some instruments, go place them in different spots and see what you get.
Yep.
That's pretty much all it is.
Yep. And you got to learn how polar patterns work and things. But
sure, but
honestly, all that stuff you can learn out of a couple of books and a lot of an experience. What's very hard to do is learn how to repair a keyboard.
Yeah.
Learn how to repair a mixing board. Learn how to repair a preamp. Learn how to do that. So go to school for electrical engineering if you want to be an audio engineer. Yeah, and then this way you'll have a day job, a good day job.
Where you'll actually make money.
The kind of money where you can afford to buy gear, right?
Yes.
So if you can afford to buy the gear, then you'll be able to build your own studio, which is ultimately what all these guys have to go do. Very few studios hire people to come work in their studio. I don't, right? I've got you. And when I don't have you, I do it.
Right.
Right? And I'm a mid-level studio at this point, which is weird. Now that I think about it.
That is weird. That's really weird.
Because I started as a very small studio, but it's grown. And I've made business decisions on things like, okay, I made some money. I could either go save it or reinvest into the business. And usually it's reinvest into the business.
Yes.
And by having a day job, whatever gigs you do get, you can reinvest rather than trying to live on that money.
Right.
So go get a degree in electrical engineering, learn how to do that, and then go off and become an audio producer, become an audio engineer. Minor in music.
Yeah.
Minor in something like piano or composition, because then you'll get the foundations of the producing, which is being a musician, right? I'm of the opinion that a producer is a musician first. Though there are guys who are engineers first. I think Bob Olson, he's an engineer first and then goes off into production. But being able to arrange, being able to recognize that a guitar is out of tune, understanding how to tune a guitar, all those things are very, very important.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're struggling to make ends meet, you're not going to get to make very good records, and you won't get to make very epic records.
Right. And really, if you want to take classes in any of this, I know there's quite a few community colleges that have recording programs.
Yeah, almost every community college offers a recording program.
Yeah, so go take classes there. You're really not going to learn anything else in music college doing this that you won't learn there.
Right.
They give you the basics, and really everything else beyond like the first 2 years is just repetition. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's why I left.
Yeah.
I always say I quit Berklee because they quit teaching.
Yeah.
Because once you get past those first couple of years, it all becomes very subjective, and does the teacher like you, blah, 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 blah. So, but if you're dead set on going to a music school, I do recommend Berklee. I think Berklee is probably the right school to go figure out how to survive today.
Yeah, if you got the money.
Yeah, but don't go into debt for this stuff.
Don't go into debt at all, because it's definitely not worth that.
And when I was there, Dave Tronzo, I remember him saying, "Why don't you just give me your full tuition, and I'll just teach you exclusively."
Really, he said that?
And if you come in and you're not prepared one week, that'll be the end of that. Okay. take lessons from somebody who really knows what they're doing,
Uh-huh.
because you do have to learn how to be learning how to be a musician does
Right.
take tutelage, but it's not an economically viable way of going about it.
Yeah.
Now, if you got a bunch of money and you can just go to whatever college you want,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to worry about work after college, yeah, go.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Berkeley's a great place for that.
It's a great place for that. And honestly, if you're in that situation, you do stand a chance of being a successful jazz musician, because you'll have to go play for free for years,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you'll be sought after.
Uh-huh.